Hey there. So in this video, we're going to talk about installing the Google Tag Manager within your website. Google Tag Manager is a management system for being able to not only manage your Google tags, like your tracking tags, your remarketing tags, but pretty much anything else that you might be running. You can run Facebook pixel tags, you can run your Facebook standard events, JavaScript tags through there as well, LinkedIn, Insights tags, HubSpot tags. Tags galore. I would definitely recommend running Google Tag Manager. There are other tag manager systems out there. I believe Adobe has one, and there's a few more. But the Google Tag Manager is probably the most popular, and it's pretty easy to set up. So let's go through that process right now. So what you want to do, first of all, of course, is just search for Google Tag Manager. And once you see that, just do the quick sign on or sign up process. Once you're signed up, you're going to be presented with a page that looks kind of like this. And what you want to do is just select Create an Account. Click the Create Account button. The account name, you just enter in your company name. So company XYZ, or whatever your company is. And down here under Container Setup, just put in the website name as well. So company XYZ. .com. Most of the time it'll be for web usage, but they do have options for mobile down here as well. So go ahead and click on web if that pertains to you, and then click create. Terms of service, of course, read through it, say yes. And then you'll be presented with the first step, which would be to install the two snippets of code. And the first piece is JavaScript that needs to be inserted as high in the head section of the website as possible. And then additionally, there's a second piece of code that gets inserted after the opening body tag. Okay, so this is where a lot of people get hung up a little bit. So there are different approaches to it, and as you can imagine, there's a lot of different website platforms, so I can't cover everything, but I'm going to cover the most common implementation, which is probably WordPress. Now, when I go into, for example, our WordPress backend, and I go into the plugin section, you can see there's a bunch of different plugins that you can run. Before I even get to this, let me just talk about the three probably the most popular options for running Google Tag Manager. First is just running a plugin that's designed for it, and this is the one that we use pretty much all the time, by Thomas Geiger. Okay, so GTM for WordPress. You can install it. There's different options for placement of the tag within your website. So of course you want to try probably the easiest one and then test it out to see if it works. The one that is the easiest for us pretty much works, I would say, like 95% of the time. So most likely you'll have success with that. Another option would be to run it directly through your website theme. And again, we're talking, there's like hundreds, if not thousands of website WordPress themes. And, we use Divi on most of our websites. So here's an example where Divi has something, the theme options, integration, and you can add it to your head and your body right through the theme. So look for that on your particular theme, because you might have the ability to integrate it right through the theme. Okay, so if you don't have that, another option is if you're savvy enough, you can add it directly to your code. It does have to fire on every single page for tracking purposes. So again, if you have the ability to get into the header files within WordPress, make sure you're not adding it, obviously, to something that's going to be overwritten whenever WordPress updates. But so this is something you'd want to work with your admin on, just to make sure that you have it in the right section of the code of WordPress, and not in a place where it's going to be overwritten when you update WordPress to the newest version. Okay, so once that's done, you can go back into you can actually fire this other. There's another piece of there's another tool that we use, the Google Tag Assistant, and you can actually see if the Google Tag Manager is running. So if you're not running the Google Tag Assistant, you should be running it within the Google Chrome browser. And what you want to do is just enable record and then refresh your browser, and then you should be able to see that the Google Tag Manager is running through this particular tool. Okay. Once you've confirmed that it is running, then we're back over into Google Tag Manager. And this is where you will set up your first tag. Now, a lot of times what we do, because we work in Google Ads quite a bit, is we will add the conversion linker, which is something that Google recommends right away doing. Allows you to be able to manage and measure your conversions more accurately. So we will just say Google conversion linker. You should have your own way of naming things, and I'm just going to make this as simple as possible for this video. Triggers would be like when it actually triggers. So we say all pages. Conversion linker does apply to all pages. So this is just an example of setting up a tag. So you have your tag, and then you have your trigger, right? So what is the tag is, it could be a lot of different things, right? And let's just look at that real quick. Actually, I'll look at that in a second after I save this. All right, so let's say I'm doing a new tag. There's so many different things that you can set up here. Okay, and in other videos, I take you through setting up Google Analytics 4, for example, or Google Analytics for events would be like conversion tracking via Google Analytics 4. So, a lot of times we do Google Ads conversion tracking through here as well, and remarketing, of course, and then custom HTML is used quite a bit for a lot of different software platforms where we need to add some tracking code. Ad roll is here. There's a whole bunch, crazy egg. There's just a lot of different ways to measure various things, especially pertaining to marketing. This is one that we use quite a bit as well. Google Ads calls, like call tracking from your website. Okay, so I would just go through the list to get a feel for what's there, because once you start using Google Tag Manager, a lot of times you just you keep adding to it, right? And then you end up with a bunch of tags that are managed and measured in one central place. And another advantage here is that it's organized, and you don't have a bunch of JavaScript code that's like just all over the place on your website. It's managed through one central repository of tags, and it makes a single call to the cloud, so it's as quick as possible, right? So very organized and efficient. Okay, so now that you have your first tag in Google Tag Manager, what do? You've got to preview it, make sure it actually works, and then if everything looks great, then we submit it and it gets sent over to your website. So I did have to switch accounts here because obviously company XYZ is not my company name, and I don't have an account or a website for that. So I'm in my regular account here, but what you want to do is go into preview mode. So I'm going to click on preview here. It's going to ask you, it's going to prompt you for your website address, and you'll enter that in with the full HTTPS most likely. And then what you do is you'll connect, and it's going to connect the GTM, the Google Tag Manager, to your website, and you'll be able to see exactly which tags are firing and what's not firing. Okay, so I'm going to go back over to this tab, and you can see it says connected. All right, so I'm going to say OK, or continue rather. And you can see already off of the first page, it's showing me the tags that have fired up here, and tags that have not fired. So you can see as part of this regular implementation that we have a lot of tags. We have Facebook base code, we have different Facebook event codes, Lucky Orange, LinkedIn Insights tags, Google Analytics, the old Universal, and then GA4. So we're firing a lot of tags already, right? So conversion linker was the example that I just went through. So I can see right away that it's working, right? If this was something else where it only fires on certain pages, let's say that you're doing conversion tracking on a thank you page, then of course you'd want to actually go through on your website the process of submitting that thank you page, and then you'd be able to toggle back over here to see if it actually fired correctly, and it would be under tags fired, hopefully, if you had configured it correctly. Okay, so that's what you'll want to do. If everything looks good, then you just submit it, and you can put a version name and description, and then submit those changes, and you have a record of anything that you did on that particular day in case you have to come back and audit it. Okay, so hopefully that's helpful. That is Google Tag Manager. Let me know if you have any questions. If you found this valuable, please like or subscribe, or like and subscribe. And we'll see you in the next video. Appreciate it. All right, bye.